Hello, HCs, recent students and teachers. Thank you, sit down. Welcome everyone to Science Special Lesson number 1. Before we look at what we will go through in today's lesson, in the previous lesson you have looked at more like a summary of what we have been doing throughout the year. In your discussions, you try to share your ideas on what you have learned on the different strands and sub-strands that you have gone through all of this year. In the special lesson today, these are the two main things that we will go through or do. First of all, we will look at the science skills, some of the science skills that will be tested, and you will also answer exam type questions. So this will help us as we also approach your grade 8 national exams. Some of the science skills that will be tested, in today's lesson we will be looking at the measurement or the scale reading, performing simple experiments, drawing or labeling of diagrams, making conclusions through observation, making predictions, and interpreting diagrams. So those are some of the skills we will go through today. These 6 skills, which will be tested through these exam type questions which I will give. There are 6 questions and you are to work individually to answer these questions. Do raise your hands if you need assistance from your teacher. Receiving teachers, I'd like you to attend to each individual if they raise questions as they go through these exam type questions. I'd like to have Daira and Tulanga, if you can distribute one of these papers to every individual. For every question, you are given 5 minutes to do it, and you do it individually. All right. For receiving students, your questions will be on the screen, and you will be given 5 minutes to complete one before you move on to another. It says as soon as you receive your paper, you will start straight away. Now, all these questions are multiple choice. I do not want any guess answers. I don't want any guess answers. You must read through carefully and try to understand it before you give an answer. Receiving students, here is the first question. If you can quickly get this down. Our teacher quickly get it down for students to do. Question number 1, the skill that is in that question is measurement or scale reading. You are given 5 minutes to complete this. Your time starts now. Questions for the answers, but do not concentrate on that. You get your own answer before you move on to looking at the answers.
We just wait for the move on.
You can go ahead. We will now move on to question number 2, receiving students. And this is a question. The skill is on performing simple experiments. Receiving students, question number 3. The skill of drawing or labeling diagrams. Receiving students, question number 4 is on the skill of making conclusions. If you're not clear with anything, feel free to raise your hands.
When you say holds, does that mean holds into the funnel or holds inside the beaker?
Funnel, okay. This is soil, this is sand, this is clay. If you pour water in, equal amounts of water were poured into each of the funnels containing garden soil, sand, and clay. The water going through was collected in a beaker.
What's the unit? This centimeter?
Yeah. Listen, if you find that all the four answers are not correct, but you have a different answer, that's okay. You can write it beside it, right? Maybe four of those answers may not be correct. You may have another one. That's okay. You can write it next to it. If you don't agree with those four answers, you come up with your own answer. That's okay. You write it next to it. We can go through. Question 5, receiving students, is on making predictions. Which one? Okay, the length of the object given in the above diagram is, if you don't think any of these answers is correct, you give your reason too, and you try to understand the scale here. The last question receiving students is on interpreting diagrams. Why do you have to make this look like this?
This is very, very, very bad. There's a lot of... This is waste of paper. You're doing like this. These questions are going to do like this to you in exams.
All right, I think most of you should be finished by now. We will quickly go through what you have looked at. Let's start from question number 1. How many of you have finished question number 1? We will have someone to explain to the class how you got your answer or what is your answer. Let's have Angeline. If you can explain to the class what is your answer and how you got the answer.
For me, my answer is called A, 3.7.
Any explanations? Receiving students, you can also tell your teacher what your answer is for question number 1. All right, Angeline's answer is 3.7. Any other answers? Everyone agree? All right, if you don't agree, what's your answer? Let's have Bobby, what is your answer?
Sure, mine is the same.
The same. Any different answers? All right, Jennifer, what's your answer? All right, we'll have Jennifer to give an answer.
I got a different answer, which is 3.4 centimeters.
All right, she got a different answer, which is 3.4. Okay, she doesn't agree with the answers that are given. She has her own answer. Any reasons why you don't agree with the answers? Or explain how you worked it out?
I counted
The divisions?
the small spaces, and it was 19 millimeters, so I divided it by 5, which gives you a centimeter, and I got 3.4.
Okay. According to her, all the answers given are not correct. She has her own answer. Good. Let's have the last one. All right, we will go through. First of all, in this question, we are trying to measure and at the same time trying to understand the reading of the scales. All right, we have the scale here. We will first of all understand this. All right, we know that this is 3 what? 3 centimeter, 4 centimeter, 5, 6, and 7 centimeter. But we have some scales in between there. All right, the divisions. All right. So what do you think is this? So it will be 3.2 centimeter. But in this case, from ear to ear is 2 millimeters. Right? So the divisions are in millimeters. One division will be equal to 2 millimeters. Now, if you look at the object, it starts from here, right up to here. So the object is around here. When you are trying to read, the starting point must always be counted as 0. Your reading must always be from 0, the starting point. So this is 0. So that means we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38. 38 what? 38? millimeters. All right? In centimeter, this will be 3.8 centimeter. So our correct answer is 3.8 centimeter, which is not given in the answer. You got it? So very important, when you are trying to take a measurement, you must understand the scale. You must understand the scale. And to start taking a reading, the starting point must always be from 0. All right? You cannot say it's about 7 centimeter, because our starting point here is not 0. You are starting from somewhere around here, just going like that. So it's not 7. You must always start from 0, wherever it is. So this kind of measurements can be done when you're looking at thermometer, measuring cylinders, the beakers. You may be tested on this, or taking a length of something. So that is your answer. Receiving students, you will find that the answer is not in the answers that are provided. It's 3.8 centimeter. Question number 2. Let's have someone to give us the answer. Explain. The skill of performing simple experiments. All right, Dara, what is your answer for question number 2?
My answer was C.
C. Any others? Do not agree? All right. If we read the question carefully, which of the following lists the correct sequence of equipment set up in order to carry out an experiment? When you are carrying out an experiment, there are steps that you will follow. In this case, we are looking at the order of setting up equipments. So you will see the first one will be the rack, which is number 4. The second one, you will have to put in the test tubes, and that's number 2. The third one will be you labeling the test tubes, that's number 1. So the last one will be 3, where you will have to pour the liquids or whatever the content of the test tube inside it. So we have the answer C, which is 4, 2, 1, and 3. In this type of questions, sometimes you will be given pictures of the processes that will take place, and you will have to put them in the correct order. Right? So if we have to understand the question, read carefully the questions and try to understand them before you put them out in their orders. So your answer, correct answer, receiving students and teachers, is letter C. Question 3, we'll have someone to tell us the answer. Francis, what's your answer?
B.
Francis, your answer is?
B.
B. The diagram shows the structure of a flower. Which part labeled A, B, C, or D in the diagram represents the petals? What's your answer again? B. Receiving students, you agree with that? All agree? Yes. All right. B is the correct answer. Who can give me the answer for A? What is A? What is A? A? Receiving students, tell your teacher what name is given to A. All right, let's have Messi. Messi, what's A?
Stigma.
Stigma is correct. Paul, what's C?
Stamen.
Paul says stamen. You agree? Is that stamen? Any other answers? Okay. Good try, Paul, but I'm afraid that's not the correct answer. Okay. We'll have Teresa. Teresa will give us the answer.
Birds.
Birds. Okay. In a flower, you will have something like this. Right? We are referring to this one here. Let's have Brendan. Brendan.
Anthers.
Anthers is correct. That's the correct answer. All right. We have this part, the anthers. This part is called a filament. And all of this is called a, Paul, what did he say? All right, stamen. So those are the parts. And the last one, D, is the ovary. Now, this type of questions, listen, very important. Sometimes you will be asked to draw them. Sometimes the drawing will be given and you have to label them. This can be on living things like plants and even on animals or the human body parts. Right? So you will have to try to learn how to draw them and know the names of the different body or different parts of the living things. Question 4. Making conclusions. We'll have one answer. Anna, what's your answer? Let's look at the answer for Anna. Listen.
My answer is D.
All right, that's the answer D. Thank you. Let's quickly go through. Equal amounts of water were poured into each of the funnels containing garden soil, sand, and clay. So these funnels have different types of materials there. The water going through was collected in a beaker beneath the funnel. So we have the beakers here, and water was poured through the funnel that contains each of those substances or materials, and the water went through and it was collected by the beaker. Which of the following conclusions can best be made from these experiments? Conclusions are given here, so first of all, you will have to read through and understand these answers. Garden soil holds more water than the others. Sand holds more water than the others. Clay holds more water than the others. Clay holds less water than the others. Let's look at the garden soil. After water is poured in, some water is being absorbed within this soil here, while the rest is collected here. Sand, water has been, some of it has been absorbed here, some been collected here. Clay, while the water has been poured in, not all the water goes down, but some is being absorbed here. So the question is, which of the following conclusions can best be made from these experiments? Garden soil holds more water than the others. Garden soil. If it holds more water, then you will see not much water will be in the beaker, because more water will be held in the materials there. So you think garden soil holds more water than the others? No. Sand holds more water than the others. Sand. It holds more water. Clay holds more water than the others. Yes. You agree? Yes. Clay holds less water than the others. All right. You will see, because our instructions say equal amounts of water were poured into these funnels here. But after they were poured in, you will see we have less water here in this beaker. If we have less water here, that means more water has been absorbed here. It's been trapped here. Meaning, clay holds more water than the other. So our answer is C. Question 5. I'll look up question 5, receiving students. The graph shows the result of an experiment to see the changes in brightness when lamps are added to a circuit in parallel. What will happen if more lamp is added to the circuit in parallel? Now, looking at this type of questions, you will have to make predictions. But you will have to understand the graph shown here. We have the brightness of lamps and the number of lamps. In a parallel circuit, now some of you are not listening. In a parallel circuit, first lamp, you can see the brightness of the lamp. When you add another lamp, making the number of lamp 2, you will see the brightness, and the third one you will see. Now, if we add one more, what do you think will happen to the brightness of the lamp? It will become less bright? Not light at all? Have the same brightness, become brighter? All right, the correct answer, anyone? Okay, Violet? All right, the answer is C. You agree? Okay, if you refer to the graph, you will see the brightness of lamps. Even 1, 2, or 3 lamps, the brightness is still the same. So if you add another one, according to the graph, we will have this answer, have the same brightness. Your answer should be C. The last question. The last question, we'll have Terence to give us his answer. Terence, what's your answer?
C.
Terence says C. Now look up here and we'll go through quickly. This is interpreting diagrams. Right? Diagrams are given. You try to understand or interpret how much light or whatever that it will give. So you try to understand that. In which of the following circuits will the lamps be the brightest when the switch is closed? Assume that all the lamps are identical. So the lamps are the same. Our question is, which of the lamps will be the brightest? I have one dry cell, one lamp. For A. For B, one dry cell, 2 lamps. 2 dry cells, 1 lamp. 2 dry cells, 2 lamps. 1 dry cell, 1 lamp, 2 dry cells, 2 lamps. That means A and D will have the same brightness. You understand? Yes. I have 1 dry cell, 2 lamps. That means it will be not as bright as A and B. A and B will be more brighter than this. C, I have 2 dry cells, 1 lamp. I have more energy in there, so this will be more brighter than these 2 and this. So C is the answer. So there are some questions that you will be able to, you must try to interpret. By showing you the diagrams, you will be able to interpret those. We have come to the end of today's lesson. Next lesson will be also a special lesson, number 2. Our keyword for today is science test skills. With that, thank you, HCS students and teachers for your participation.